It's a human whose physiology and beings is designed to bring forth, attract, bring forth, and nurture life.
From this piece of land, you can see both sides of the island and ocean. From the wellness hill where the new wellness center is that they're building, you can see the ocean on the other side of the island. And then from our little guest house, here where the sun is setting, you can see the ocean there too. It's really something. Here's some good tea. Relaxing in my hammock.
Yeah, man. You know the bath fountain?
Yeah, that's it.
You said you could use them healing waters too, right, Gojo?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I know, I want them too. Now it may be too far for these guys, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going before I leave Jamaica. In indigenous ways, women are responsible for the water and land. It's not real estate. If a man needs to leave a woman's house, she puts his things she puts his things outside that territory. Anything on this ground is his woman's. So she held plays many cultures that I have embraced. It's her responsibility to protect the water and the land. It's where life comes from, just the same as it comes from her body. Our old teachings, indigenous teachings, simply and clearly reflect that always.
Reflection. But first, what I'm hearing is that there's a deep appreciation for the ancestors and for the earth that's here. Now, what role do you feel you play in maintaining the earth?
So they kept quiet. Silence was a thing. So while the British passed through, they were passing right here with red coats.
Where?
Through here. They're coming from Accompong Estate all the way down. And when they passed here, because I was inside the cave, 7 of them, and they kept silent with the abeng. When they reach out there, they blow the abeng. When they blow the abeng, the fighting start. They killed off every British out there in Big Ground. We call it Big Ground, the battlefield. And when they killed off the British, only one was saved. They brought him back here, cut off his ears, sent him back to Accompong Estate, then back to Spanish Town. And he was the one who bring the story back to Queen Victoria and King John. That's why they came here, come back by 1738 and made a treaty right here.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. in the state that we're in right now, and in the climate that we're in, when we're trying to figure out how do we build climate resilience, how do we, start to build communities that are healthy and well and are surviving and not just surviving but also thriving, using technologies, using resources, using this idea of connecting youth, elders, children to purpose, collective purpose, individual purpose.
How I exercise spirituality is I hook up with nature, Mother Nature, that crossover. That's where my crossover lies. Right between I and nature, and all of the mysteries that I see have been unfolded in nature, I see. So I now really drum up an interpretation for counteract nature. I don't think that it can happen.
So in the meadow, beyond this piece of jungle, the fire is burning the dead grass. And when we come back, it'll be all gone. And Lawrence has brought us some big, long stick of bamboo. From this beautiful
What can you do it and walk wrong or not?
So the fire burned the whole hillside up above the trail, all the way over towards the forest, where it's too wet for it to continue. And then next time it rains, Kojo says there will be new grass, fresh grass. Yes, he raises cows here, so he knows. And that's how he makes sure they can eat. Right now his cows are sold, but they keep the land this way.
Queen Anne, who was one of the spiritual and military strategists that worked alongside her brother, she created created communities in which they could flee the plantations and have a space in which they could actually have independence, develop their own systems of governance, farm the land for themselves and their community. Yet, meanwhile, there's people who are in chains, who are experiencing, just the horrors of humanity. And I find that what's so interesting in this day and age, when we're looking at, just what's going on in Black and Indigenous communities across the world. And, we're sitting here, and one of the things is, there's plumbing here, right? But there's no water. There's no water.
Several travesties that are occurring here now. The people, although they have plumbing, nice plumbing, Marshall. What about the water system that was intended to work, which apparently does work, or it did when it was installed, but the government turned it off, Jamaican government turned it off? That's an act of war. To me, as an activist, looking to protect people's rights to those things, it's an act of war. I wandered and wandered and wandered and wandered, and he found the bath fountain. And he went in those waters, and all of his wounds were healed. Quick, quick, quick. And that's how it was found. He lived there, and others found him, and they became famous for that. became a hospital. The British made a hospital of it in 1600s.
Oh,
Yeah. They document there what minerals are in the waters.
And you use it to rub your skin.
Yeah.
And it cure, it heal you.
Yeah.
As one example.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what it is. So many of the herbs we have on the earth here have that medicinal value. In the Maroon Commission should have the #1 chemical biology lab for the whole Caribbean. But Jamaica University of the West Indies, you don't comprehend it. You don't comprehend it. They skim around with little bit of research with marijuana, for example. And they let it stop there. What about the guinea hen weed? What about the aloe vera? What about the cirrhosis? What about the jack in the bush? What about the jansal? And some other thing what use for tea and use for medicine. What about them? Because end of the day, you know, the Bible said the herb shall heal the land. And it's going to happen.
Well, there was medicine women, there was spirit women, there was, there was priests and priestess, and they had their roles and whatnot. And these things weren't arbitrary. You have this community where everybody kind of knows each other, and people are always outside, and it's just kind of crazy, like considering that Jamaica is considered one of the murder capitals of the world. You have Maroon Town in the mountains, and it's like there hasn't been a murder here for 280 years, but somehow they're considered uncivilized and backwards. I don't know.
So everyone, the indigenous Maroons, the diaspora, the Rasta, and also the Gavias, we all need to meet, we need to talk to make one people, one word.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
My name is Reno Barrett.
Sorry?
Reno Barrett.
Okay. And we were asking a question, a word that reminds you of the earth.
Life.
Life.
The concept reminds us in taking from the past, bringing for the future. And so today, I just want to encourage we all, men, women, boys, girls, remember our culture. Keep it, teach it, live it, sleep it, let it be a part of our everyday life. Meda.
Water knows everywhere it's ever been. And we could just hold on to that. Water has energy, and of course everything else does, and we're at the same time connected to wherever the water travels. In the wind, in the wood, in my body, in your body. You have to look after the water, and it has to start personal. Are you taking in, and what water are you giving out? You.
Magnolia. Yes, so this is the wishing well. So this now, the island a drop one kind night and wish them love more higher. And what's the what them want.